Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome you all to the news reporting course with the course code JMC-225. This is lecture number 8 and today we are going to discuss basics of news writing style. I'm Anwar Khan, lecturer journalism and mass communication department, Cohort University of Science and Technology. Let's discuss first of all the agenda points that what are the key points that we will be discussing in today's presentation. So first of all, we will define and explain the news writing style. That what do we mean by it? So first of all, we will take up this question. Then we will discuss the importance of news writing style. We will discuss it that why is it so important that we are discussing it. Then the structure of the news writing style, again very important because because this is the structure that journalists throughout the world, across the globe, they are following it and writing their stories, following the structure. And then we have the inverted pyramid style, then the history of the inverted pyramid style. So these are the 5 key points, key elements that we will be discussing in today's our lecture, and our students will be able to answer all these 5 questions or key points if they listen carefully and understand it. So first point, which is the news writing style. Okay, how can we define it? So from the journalistic perspective, we can say that news style or the news writing style is actually the way, format or the structure in which news stories are written or developed, right? So it is very simple, that is, it is actually the way or the format or the structure which is used to develop the news stories, because we know that journalists first of all collect information, and after collecting information, I mean the same information cannot be given to the audience, because this is not the technique and this is not the rule or the regulation. If you are working in the field of journalism, you need to follow a particular pattern, a structure, and to develop the information into a news story. And this way or the style will help us or guide us to develop the news story. And we have to keep in mind that this particular style is followed by all the news organizations across the globe. If you talk about the local media, if you talk about the national media or the international media, they follow the same structure, they follow the same style. So if you pick up the news stories and read it out, so you will come to know that all the media, all the news media, they are following the same structure, right? And all the news, they are in the same structure. And we should know, it is also the very important point that this style, news writing style, is actually the beauty of the news, and that is the reason that we can distinguish it from other pieces of writing, from other genres of writing, like poetry writing, drama writing, prose writing, script writing for the movies, for the documentaries, etc. So actually news writing, I mean, again I will reinforce that we are talking about the news, and today we are talking about the technique for writing the news, right? So actually they guide us how to develop your news story, and it is completely different than other pieces of writing. And with the passage of time, in the course of our discussion, we will come to know about it, that how it is different from other genres of writing, and it is completely different, believe me. Right. Okay, let's have a look of this story in order to understand that what do we mean by it. This story is taken from the daily Dawn News, and this story, I mean, we can see, if we read it out, we can see that it is written in a specific format, in a specific style. We can see that the first 1.5 line is bold, then the very first paragraph is again bold, and then we can see the other paragraphs. So we can see that the first 1.5 line is actually this is which is called the headline. It is explained in the very first paragraph, and then the very first paragraph is explained in the next coming paragraphs. These paragraphs, so which are given below, they are actually explaining the very first paragraph, and this first paragraph is actually called the lead, right? And this is actually called the title of the headline of the story, right? So we can see that that we can differentiate it from other pieces of writing, as we discussed earlier. That in other pieces of writing, we follow the narrative style. We establish the climax or the main scene at the end of the writing. While in news writing, we are not doing it. We are following a particular style in which we give the climax or the main points in the very beginning in the form of the headline. Then in the form of the intro or the lead or the paragraph, the very first paragraph, we give the main points to the readers or the audience, because we know that in the 21st century audiences are receiving thousands of messages on daily basis, and they are not in a position to read out all these thousands of messages. So what happens, we need to have a style, a structure which can grab the attention of the readers. So that is the reason that the journalists, experienced journalists, have developed this very style in which they give the main points in the very beginning. So I hope that this is quite clear from the story. Then elements or the structure of a news story. Um, as we discussed in the previous story, we divide it into two parts. The first one is the headline, uh, right, and the second is the body. So these are actually the two parts. So for our students, it is necessary to understand that when they are working in the field of journalism, and after collecting the information, they want to develop the story. So they will write the headline, and they will write the body of the story. So what do we mean by headline, and what is the association or importance of headline for the journalism, and what about the body, right, and how many paragraphs there should be. So let's discuss. Okay, first of all, the headline, we discuss it. We say that a headline is actually a line that appears above a news story, and it has certain objectives. Yes, it has certain objectives. So we need to understand first of all that it is a line, or maybe one, not more than two lines, because it will be against the rule of the headline. We keep the headline very simple, very catchy, very short, so that it grabs the attention of the readers. And remember that for our students, they have to keep in mind that it appears above a news story. It Headline can never be in the middle of a news story, and it cannot appear at the end of a news story. It will also always appear above a news story. So they have to keep in mind, and it has certain objectives, right? So we will discuss it, that what are those objectives. So one of the objectives of a headline is to grab the attention of the reader, and I told you in the previous slide that readers receive thousands of messages on daily basis. So is it possible for even for you people to read these thousands of messages in the form of the advertisements, in the form of the slogans, in the form of the written statements, written on the banners or placards or etc. So surely it's difficult for everyone to read all these statements, right, and to keep all this information in the mind. So a headline has certain objectives. Secondly, we say that it works like a display, like the display which attracts the reader. It is quite true, because it is the headline which attracts the reader. And if the reader is going away or leaving the story, so surely a catchy headline will grab the attention of the reader. And then we say that headlines are very important. Truly it is, because all fields or all forms of journalism, they are following it. If we speak about the news stories, or if we speak about the we can say that editorials or columns, if opinions like, and features, all of them, they are having headline. They will have headline. So it is actually the importance of headline, because it summarizes all the key points. And changing nature of headline, yes, truly, and this we are facing, and we are seeing it in the online media. For example, data journalism, which has developed in other parts of the country, while in Pakistan it is still developing. So in data journalism, you will find multiple headlines above the paragraph. Headlines will be given to get the attention of the readers, and to give them idea or key points very easily. While if you speak about the print media or the electronic media, we are still following um, uh, I mean the same old pattern where we follow the main headline, single headline, or we follow the sub headline and then again the sub headline. I mean, I have given you the examples, and we will be discussing it in the coming slides. So in print media, electronic media, we are still following the traditional rule and regulation, while in the online media, we are new fields of and new forms of journalism are developing. So headlines are. Then this is actually the example we can see. It is actually taken from the Dawn, Daily Dawn, and we can see that this is the headline, right? And it appears above the text. This is actually the text or the body. Then we have again this is the headline, and it appears above the body or the text. This is the headline again, which appears above the headline, the body. Again, another example we have. This example is taken from the Mashriq, Daily Mashriq, and we can see the headline again, and then sub-headline, then the third headline, sub-headline, and this is actually the body. It means that you will always find the heading above the body. We can also see here again the main headline, the sub-headline, and this is actually the body. This is another story with the headline and the sub-headline, and then the body. I mean, from these three stories, we can guess that the headline will always appear above the text. But we have to keep one thing in mind that, as we discussed earlier, that it has certain objectives. All right. So grabbing the attention of the readers is one of the objective of the headline, and we can see that. Look at the background of the story; it is gray in color. This background is also gray in color, and this background, the background of the story, is white in color. So it has certain objectives. It actually picturizes the situation that due to corona the situation is getting worse in Pakistan and in different parts of Pakistan, right? So this actually picturizes such a situation, and right, and the same is the case with this story. While this story again, the background is white, so it gives another message. So we discussed earlier that headline has certain objectives. Right, and it can be seen. Okay, part two, we discuss about the body. Okay, first of all, we discuss the headline. Now we discuss the body. So, what after collecting information, what happens that the journalist needs to develop it in the form of a story. So, what would be the style? All right, what would be the style that he will develop his story? So simply that he will give that information in the descending order of importance to develop the body of a new story. Surely our students, they will be thinking that what do we mean by descending order of importance? It means the inverted pyramid style. We have heard of the pyramid, the Egyptian pyramids. We have seen them in the movies, documentaries. We have discussed them, and we have heard different myths and stories about it. So this is the actually the pyramid. And what happens that this is in the journalism, in the field of journalism, we follow the inverted pyramid style. In the according to inverted pyramid style, we give the most newsworthy information, or the most important information in the beginning, right? And then the important information will be given, they will follow the first paragraph, and then the least important information will be given at the end of the story, right? So it means that the most important information has to be in the beginning, so that readers can have a quick idea of the situation, that what is happening in real. All right, so this is actually the inverted pyramid style, and this we follow. This is actually the style which we follow in the news, for writing the news, and that is the reason that I told you that this style is completely different than other styles, which or the narrative styles most of the times other writings are following. But over here we are following the inverted pyramid style, in which we create the climax, in which we give the most important information in the beginning and the least important information at the end. If readers do not have time, and he or she does not read the last paragraph, so it will not matter, because he will have at least the main information with the help of the headline, and then through these paragraphs, right? So this is the body, and our students, if they want to write stories, so they will need to write the headline, and then they will follow this pattern. So there is a question that how the students will know, yeah, or how the journalists know that which information is important, and I mean most important, and which information is the least important. So the answer to this question is very simple, that it is because of the experience, that when you work in the field of journalism, then you will come to know about it, that which information is important, and which information is least important. Because if you are sitting in the classroom, or if you are sitting in the office and not working in the field, you may not know it until and unless you go out into the field and file the story, write the story, then you will know that which information is important and which one is least important. Okay, the history of inverted pyramid style. Well, still there is a disagreement that when the inverted pyramid style was first adopted and used in the field of journalism, because some of the scholars say that it is because of the invention of the telegraph that introduced inverted pyramid style. And we know about the telegraph, that it was invented by Samuel Morse in 1940s, which truly revolutionized the long distance communication. And this telegraph was actually used for different purposes at that time. So according to one group of scholars, they believe that actually it is credit goes to the telegraph, that because of the invention of the telegraph, the inverted pyramid style was used. But another group of scholars, they reject this idea, and they say that it is not the it is not the telegraph. In fact, it is the various reforms which has taken place in the US, and those reforms actually pressurized and emphasized the journalist to work for to work on the factual reporting instead of the yellow journalism, because they came to know about the dangers and hazards of yellow journalism to the people as well as to the society. So it is because of the various reforms and rules and regulations and movements which had taken place in the US, which forced journalists, the journalist communities, to develop a particular structure which could follow and which could give the truthful information, the factual information to the people. But okay, these are just the history that what we know about. Now let's discuss the importance of news writing style, or the inverted pyramid style, or the news writing structure. That why is it so important, and why do we need to discuss it? So first of all, it is important because it gives a formal shape to all the stories. It is important. It is really important because if you receive a story, if you read a story from the BBC or from the CNN or from the I mean, from any of the international organization, and from the Dawn News, from the news, and from other media organizations from the Pakistan, you will come to know that all the stories, all the hard news, they have the same shape, right? They are following the same pattern. So it gives beauty. It creates beauty that all these stories are, I mean, following the same structure, and the reader, if they want to read it out, it will be easy for them as well. Also, it eases the work of the journalist and editors as well. I mean, journalists, they have a specific format to write their stories in, and they don't need to change the structure or the format of their stories again and again, because it will be difficult for them as well. And it is easy for the editors as well, that they know that the journalists have written their stories in a particular style, and that style is now known to the editors and to the journalists, so it eases their work very much. And then it grabs the attention of the audience. Well, we have discussed it in the previous slides, that this style, this specific style, inverted pyramid style, it grabs the attention of the audience, because we give the most important information in the beginning. We give the climax in the beginning. I mean, it is different in the movies, so where climax is given almost at the end, right? The solution is given at the end. The documentaries or other forms of writing or visual art, if we see. So in the news stories, what happens that we give the main point in the beginning, so that we can grab the attention of the audience or the readers. and it saves the time of the audience as well. How it saves the time? It saves the time of the audience in such a way that we want to give we want to give information to the audience, right? And we know that audience on regular basis they face or have thousands of information, so they cannot go through all the information. So what happens that in short time we give them maximum information about the incidents, about the key points, that what has happened or what is taking place in the society. So these are actually the four elements, the four points which explain the importance of inverted pyramid style or the news writing style. So this is the end of our presentation. Let me summarize all the points what we have discussed in today's presentation. So first of all, we came to know about the news writing style. We defined it and elaborated it. Then we came to know about the history of the inverted pyramid style. We also discussed the importance of inverted pyramid style. We discussed the headlines, the features of the headlines. Similarly, we also elaborated the body of the news writing style, and we came to know about the structure of the news writing style. I mean, headline and the body, wherein we discuss the inverted pyramid style, right? So all these points have been discussed. If you have any problem, please comment in the comment box and I will be there to reply it. See you in the next lecture. Till that, stay home, stay safe. Allah Hafiz.